All right, folks, how are we doing? It's Shabash. It's December 2021. We have just got the H2 balance patch with a bunch of new updates to certain classes. It's probably the biggest balance patch for quite some time. We're basically going to review it, go through it. There's no kind of indication in game really of what's new. So unless you're on the Reddit or the Discord, there's not really any way of knowing what's new and what's not. So we're gonna go through this patch line by line. I'm gonna give my thoughts on it and showcase a couple of the new features and stuff as well. So without further ado, we're gonna start off with new class changes, predominantly end game and pet class related this time. So this dropped yesterday, 21st of December 2021. And we'll start off, with the pet classes and Beowulf. So Beowulf, got a slightly increased class stats. Come on to that in a second. But the biggest change here really is the second line removed the bonus follower synergy with Tamer and Beastmaster specs for your pets. So up until now, if you've ever tried to play a pet build, you basically had to go a Valhallan class and either Beastmaster or Tamer. And basically the pet boosts were added together. However, it's kind of chained, really. You had no other option if you wanted your pet to do any significant sort of damage. But that's now been changed, and the Valhallan classes effectively have, I think, up to about 90% of the original power for their pets, if you don't go Beastmaster or Tamer. So basically the power is pretty much there already. And it basically just frees up all of these classes, allows you to try out different specs, if you're Bahamut, Beowulf, Freyr, etc. And, immediately, I've not done any playing around with it as yet, but the immediate thoughts that come to mind are, for example, Beowulf Cataphract gets super tanky, and also Beowulf Ranger with the Fake Cactus, get like double Arrow Storm going. Definitely want to try that one out. Actually, get Gate of Gunner going as well. So this really just frees up a whole bunch of possible builds for pet classes in and of themselves. So you can see it's the same for Freyr, for Bahamut, as noted in the patch notes here. Beowulf itself got a bunch of other changes. So mana, siphon, and critical hits passive were just flat out removed. Not much to say about them, really. Beowulf didn't really have. I mean, it still has a recharge, right, which is a crit skill. Critical hits, it's not doing a lot at end game, to be honest. Valhallan protection rate increased by 4%. This is actually pretty big. This is actually a 50% flat increase. So this is basically your pure block rate. Originally it was 8%. This is now up to 12%. And there's also a couple of new skills there that also increase follower protection, follower block rate. So this is just like pure damage, like 100% damage mitigation when you block. So yeah, I don't see any problem with that, increasing the base protection rate for Beowulf. New passives, Ascension Synergy. This is one of, I think, in the recent survey Odie put out, this was quite a big thing. Basically, your ascension levels will now also affect your pet stats as well, because basically before, if you were ascending Beowulf, you're basically getting HP and and not really much else, because when you're going low in health, your character stats are not getting buffed at all, and your pet stats are getting buffed. But your pet stats were not changed by Ascension. So like, what were you really ascending? Some extra HP really. But now, however, Ascension Synergy does mean that your pet stats will get increased with Ascension levels, which is definitely a good thing. And then you got these two new, kind of like a new range of skills called these calls. Act similarly to gates. You can have one up at a time, and you can have both gates and calls up during battle. Now, I believe these calls, they kind of work per Do they work per enemy? I've not tried them in a dungeon to see if they work throughout the entire dungeon. Kind of perhaps contradicted how it works compared to gates. Maybe we can try it out actually. Call of Skadi increases the chance of your follower performing an offensive spell. Call of Jord greatly increases the chance of your follower protecting you. So like more increased block rate. Now the thing with these calls, if we go on to the game itself, basically if you are not a Valhallan class, such as any non-pet class really, the calls will take a long time to proc. I reckon it's less than 5% chance when I was playing around with it earlier with Heretic. So if you're Beowulf or Bahamut, for example, these calls will go off very quickly. If you use them with other classes, it's going to take you quite a number of turns before they proc. Now remember to switch to all of these classes that got new skills in order to unlock the skills. Kind of still need to do that for a couple of other classes. So yeah, Beowulf, we did see that its stats were changed. Got a picture here of before and after stats. This is at 250, level 250. Apologies, but here we go. Click on that. So we've got, top is new stats, bottom is previous stats. So Beowulf there, fourth column on the right. So you can see mana was kind of increased by about 300 mana points. So that therefore increases your base ward as well. Base ward, higher than Gilgamesh. Then you can see attack and magic kind of equalized and greatly improved. Attack just about doubled, and I'm actually running Beowulf right now. And magic also improved really significantly. I'm looking at defense there. Defense not moved that much. Okay, 1 second, please. Got toast here. Okay. Yeah, working hard. I'll come back in a second. So yeah, attack was buffed significantly, and you see they're just equalized. So they're now 1256 attack and magic. So hybrid builds potentially going to become more of a thing. Pretty excited for that. Resistance upped a little bit. Defense upped a little bit as well. How much? 15% maybe. And dexterity, doesn't deserve any extra dexterity, I guess. Okay, we'll carry on. So yeah, Beowulf. I've not done any playing around with it myself, but it's good to see that OD has listened to the community, and it definitely needed some love. Whether this is enough, whether this is good, we'll see how it plays out over the next month or so. Still got recharge, yeah. Okay, let's move on to next class, which I believe was another pet builds. We've got Freyr and Bahamut. So, as before, the removal of the Beastmaster and Tamer kind of chain that locked you in to those specs has been removed for these type of classes. Freyr, we learn a call of Brynhild, increase the chance of your follower performing a buff or debuff. And Bahamut learns Call of Idun, increase the chance of your follower performing a healing spell. So buff, debuff skills, fairly obvious. And healing spells are things like Cleanse from your Pale Dragon, this sort of thing. So remember, you can use these calls with other classes, as mentioned. Let's quickly... I'm not sure if I actually swapped to these yet. Let's make sure we pick up the new skills. So Bahamut, you learn Call of Idun level 200. Seems like I got that one already. And then you got Freyr as well. A couple of other new skills introduced as well in other classes. We'll grab them later. But what I might do actually is just to showcase... Okay, so I actually already picked up these skills. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll hop onto Beowulf right now, and we'll just take a look at our pet stats with and without Tamer. So we can see what the difference is. Remember, I am 250. Your pet stats are kind of determined by your level. So just check my gear. I don't think I have any. Okay, I don't have any pet or follower stat boosting gear on right now. And my current spec is Berserker. So we're looking at 4.6 and 3.6k attack and magic respectively. This is with Berserker spec. So let's swap to Tamer. See what the difference is. 4.6 and 3.6 becomes 6 and 4.7. So yeah, you do gain. Okay, maybe 90% was not correct what I said earlier. You still gain 4.6. Still gain like 20, 25, 30% stat boost when you go Tamer. Beastmaster would be similar, but lower for sure. And of course, you get the extra action rate for your pet as well from these skills. But at least you're put on some stat boosting gear, and also if you have put ascensions in, your follower is gonna actually still be able to do stuff and kill stuff without these specs in. So move that up there. So we were at Freyr and Bahamut. Next up is Deity. Deity also got a little bit of balance done to it. Slightly increased class stats, removed the HP Siphon passive, and got a new passive called the Deity. Davic Channel is occasionally automatically cast while in battle. Should proc on any kind of action. I'll tell you what, we'll quickly jump back and look at that stat comparison between old and new stats. Remember, this is at level 250. Now, Deity actually got kind of some serious stat increases there. First up, Deity on the far right, health was increased by almost 2,000. Mana also increased by 350 there, and therefore ward quite a significant base upgrade of 1,100 ward, quite a lot. And then the rest of the stats also boosted really heavily. Attack and magic now equalized. There's a line in the patch notes further down of like all kind of hybrid classes had their offensive stats equalized. So attack and magic 1270 at level 250, which is pretty solid, I would dare say. And then defense, resistance, dexterity 1058 for all three. So like you can see, compared to all other classes, they're literally each stat is higher than everything else. So Deity has the highest defense, highest resistance, highest dexterity, by quite significant margins. It's also second best attack, second best magic, first best health, second best mana, first best board. So quite significant stat boost for Deity. With the removal of the Life Siphon passive, I think the main reasoning there was Life Siphon kind of directly anti-synergized with the Demigod battle passive. If you don't know what Demigod does, it is the Deity's battle passive, which increases your stats by up to 60% as you as a multiplier up to 60% for both losing your health and your mana. So each one's an individual multiplier. So yeah, you become more powerful as your HP and mana decrease in battle. So if you were losing your health or regaining your health all the time, like basically Demigod wouldn't work for extended periods of time. It would work okay in PvP, especially with second chance. But that's like one shot. You get one shot where Life Siphon doesn't matter, and you have raised stats. But now, hopefully, this will be better for PvE content. for main deity mains. Mana Siphon does remain, so Life Siphon was removed, Mana Siphon remains, and the Deity is the new passive here. Deific Channel, maybe automatic cast while in battle. I kind of tried this out yesterday. Just kind of sat in a raid, used Divine Bastion, and trying to see how long it would proc, and I got up to 100 ward turns, and it hadn't procced yet, so I decided to abandon that mission. It's basically definitely less than a 5% chance, and you should not rely on it at all. You should not build around it. It's kind of like an extra bonus that can happen every now and then. Yeah, I mean it's a difficult one because as we just saw, the deity's base stats are all super high already, and if the deity was procced too much, then yeah, it would just be a bit ridiculous. So it's kind of more like a little bonus every now and then. Again, probably more geared towards extended PvE battles like raids and dungeons, that sort of thing. So now moving on to Heretic, which was the other main end game balance change. Increased magic stat to be more competitive with melee classes. I guess when he says melee classes, he basically means Realm Shifter. Added the Steadfast 2 passive, and Iconoclast now begins its effect from 100% mana rather than from 50% mana. So, agree with all of these changes. The magic stat basically got like 640 extra base magic at level 250, which is really, really significant. That's a huge boost. Steadfast 2 is it's actually huge as well. It's one of the best passives in the entire game, but especially at tier 10, when you've got everything, so many things, so many different raids, casting Blight, proccing paralysis, freeze, stun, this kind of thing. So whereas before, whenever I was raiding with Heretic, you would have no option. You would just have to wear Briny Pendant and Ring of Anowin for pretty much every raid. Now, however, I've been playing with it a bit today actually to clear out some world raids, and I've just gone like full offense. 2 Carl's Rings, extra magic, extra mana, and Steadfast 2 just does the job. Yes, you will get procced with Blight, with other statuses now and then, but it's not every turn. You don't need to immunize yourself against it with Steadfast 2. So really nice passive, and basically Realm Shifter, Beowulf, now the only 2 tier 10 classes without Steadfast 2. The other change was Iconoclast. Iconoclast basically now starts buffing yourself immediately once you've used some mana. This is really nice quality of life, because before you had to get to 50% mana, and if you were using something like Heretic's Robe, which really increases the mana cost, you could only get a couple of spells out, unless you got lots of unless you're really high level, you got extra base mana. You could only get a couple of spells out at like decent Iconoclast max passive, because you can never truly get 100% increased base stats from Iconoclast. Otherwise, you would have to use the attack button. Like, you have to use spells as Heretic, and they cost mana, so you'll never have 100% increased buff. But at least now you'll definitely have like regular, a much more consistent boost, and yeah, I like it. I've really kind of liked clearing out some of these world raids. Cleared a bunch out today. Let's. Am I actually Heretic Tamer? I mean, let's see. If we can do this war fight. I only got 1 skill, 2 skills, I think. Let's just see how good Heretic is now. No crit, so not that good. Okay, yeah, good enough. Is that the only? Okay, so from tier 10, that's the main tier 10 tier 10 classes. I think overall, yeah, really, really nice changes. One glaring omission is the Spike Shield 3. It was going to get nerfed and then it didn't. Don't know what's happening there. I think Odie is, he's taking his time to find some other solution, but there's no doubt that something needs to be done there. If you're soloing a Risen Morrigan world raid in, what was it, like 3.5, 4 minutes, even at the top end, if you take all classes at the top end gear, Gilgamesh is, outclassing all of them. So yeah, something needs to happen there. Don't really know when. Heretic, Deity, Beowulf. Yeah, good to see changes. All kind of, I think, all fairly positive. It's only been a couple of days, so we'll see. You have to wait and see exactly how things go over the next few weeks. See what people are saying. Overall, just good to see changes. There was one kind of undocumented change to Realm Shifter actually, to do with the Recharge 2 passive, and it was kind of like a bug fix actually, because I don't know if you'd played Realm Shifter before, basically the way that Recharge 2 is working, it says landing a critical hit will restore 10 to 50% of your HP and mana, but it sounds like it should work every single turn, like be a different amount every turn, and that's how it should work. We found out now, but up until yesterday, it was working like it would take a random amount and then it would work like that for the entire battle or for like 1 or 2 minutes at the same time. So if you got like a bad proc on the raid, like if you want to stay low HP and you're doing a crit build, all of a sudden you'd restore like 50%. Each Realm Strikes, for example, would restore like 50% of your HP and mana, and you'd be out of resurgence range, and that would be it. But now it's random every turn. So just to showcase, just jump in this raid. So there's a 120 mana proc there, no crit. 269 mana, 402 mana. So fairly easy to see that it's a different range every time. I think personally, the thing with Realm Shifter, you're playing into its passive now of Resurgence and High Tenacity. If you want to play a crit build, and remember, Realm Shifter gets a crit bonus to damage. It does 2.5 times normal damage when it crits, compared to most classes only do 2x. But Realm Shifter and Heretic are supposed to be like the crit dealing classes. So you're led to build towards crit. It takes good investment, but if you get a bad crit proc, you basically lose so many stats. It's kind of ridiculous. So I think there's room there to kind of shift that a little bit. Maybe lower I don't think it needs to be 50% HP or mana. Maybe lower it down to 25%, or there was a good suggestion, if you use something like Blood Shift, which makes your HP it like prevents your HP from recharging when you crit, if you have the Blood Shift buff up. That's quite a nice solution, I thought. But we'll see how that comes out as well. That's not a documented change. A couple of other undocumented changes, but let's have a look at the other classes now. Omnimancer, tier 9 mage class, also had its magic stat increased to be more competitive. That's a really good sign. Also got Life Siphon, which is awesome, and learned a new skill, Refract, which grants a great chance to return some to all of an opponent's attack damage back at them. Works more successful when magic users attempt them. It's like a reflect skill, and it's basically guessing it's a bigger version of Reflect, which is a new skill from the Grand Mystic, tier 6 mage class. And Blade Master, tier 6 melee class, basically got a similar idea, counterattack, which these kind of riposte type counterattacking skills, you know, they're definitely not my kind of play style. I'd rather just take the turn and actually deal consistent damage, and more than likely take your opponent out. Game has just crashed. I just want to first get these skills and also talk a little bit about the counterattack, how that was worded. So where is Refract, I believe it's called. Okay, there's Refract there. More successful when magic users attempt them. So there's kind of like a differentiation between attack and magic-based builds for this kind of type of skill, I guess. So, I mean, yeah, personally, I would just use your turn to actually kill the opponent, but swordplay counterattack, yeah, counterattack there. Now, yeah, here it says counterattacks are favorable to win in PvP draws. Basically, that means, I think if you were both to die, for example, if you use, because you need to take one turn to actually take the damage. So if that damage killed you, but your counterattack also killed your opponent, I think basically you would win the fight, basically. So we'll just grab that before I forget to probably never use it. I mean, I might try to make like a meme build, counterattacking or reflect build. And bear with me one moment. Okay, so yeah, no other changes really. I mean, we'll talk about the Omnimancer change. I think that's definitely needed. Like, I remember switching from Omnimancer specifically because I felt really weak compared to other classes when I first went through the game. So Life Siphon, really great addition. It's more like, it feels like Omnimancer and Heretic are much more aligned now. You've both got Steadfast, both got Life Siphon, and it should feel like you're doing more damage as well. So really good to see that. What else we got? I think in terms of balance for classes, I believe that's all of them. We do then have changes to the assassin spec. Quite interesting. Oops. So you get counterattack 2. Now this will be, yeah, you'll only be able to use this while you are the assassin spec. Yeah, I've not used it myself yet, so can't really tell exactly the numbers behind it compared to counterattack 1. But it gets this nice new ability, Anwin Subterfuge. Subterfuge. Easier to apply status effects to your opponents. Additionally, status effects given to your opponents will last longer. Now this is super interesting. This should make builds, like status builds, come more to the fore, and hopefully this will kind of break through steadfast builds as well, steadfast classes as well. So more than likely, mainly PvP play here, because there's not many PvE monsters that have steadfast and where you'd want to apply a status on them like stunned or sleep. One or two, I guess, Fallen Gaias, but they're Earth, so don't really affect me that much. But yeah, I think I'm definitely going to be playing around with Assassin. You know, even using it might make things like Joseph Arcana, the Spore Dormants, make have a bit more impact, and you know, give a bit more variety into PvP. So that's a new change. Anubis, the Anubis pet was also changed. Basically, yeah, got revamped skill set, dropped Forbid, got the Lacunas 2, which is the AoE skill, and then you got Flame 6 for, well, the Element 6 spells, Flame 6, Spark, Tremor, Frost, 5, but these are like the 5 billion spells that you should not buy at the moment. But yeah, so he's higher penetrating than previously. So seems like an okay change. Seems like an okay change. Potentially, yeah, I don't know. I've not played Beowulf in quite some time, so I don't know where this would fit in. Depends what kind of content you're doing. Nevertheless, it's definitely a buff, so hopefully we'll see some more Anubis out and about. Then finally, other changes. The new call-off skills will work most effectively with the Valhallan classes. We already went through that. Also, the hybrid classes, as we also mentioned, their attack and magic stats equalized. So, for example, the Beowulf, the Deity, attack and magic are basically the same base stats. And then we've got 2 lines down here. Defeated world raid bosses now have extra random items and material rewards. Nice change. It got nerfed after like a couple of hours, which is really disappointing. We'll come on to that and I'll show you exactly what that's about. But final line here, reduce the HP of the Sisters of Morgan raids. So this is amazing, actually. This, yeah, a month late for most people, but or 11 months early, depending which way you look at it. But yeah, I think Sister Maka, for example, like health was nuked from 16 million to like 4 million or something, which is it just had to happen. It's like definitely had to happen. So that's a good change. Okay, so these world raid extra item materials, right? Yeah, let's let's talk about that. So before another undocumented change, actually. Okay, before I look at the world raids, got 2 more undocumented changes. Firstly, I need to go in my inventory. You can now use whetstones from inside your inventory. You basically select the weapon, and you've got the use whetstone button right there. Level 2. And let's do it again. Level 3. People have been asking, I think, for this option since I started playing the game. So good to see it finally here. The technology is finally there. And the other documented change, probably my favorite change of the entire patch, to be honest. It is Kingdom Mates now appear back in the raids. You can see them there, and you can actually see them doing damage. Here we go. We got everybody's popping in, big hits going in. You can actually see the skills they're using. Their damage number is going on. I'm not touching it. That's all they're doing damage is like live damage. The health bar doesn't update until you use a skill, but yeah, it's awesome to see a bit of activity again in the Kingdom Raid screen. I think that's something we've all been missing since 3.0 dropped. So yeah, really great to see everybody back in action live. And now let's talk about these World Raid bonuses. I think they're like bonus items, right? So essentially, let's just show. Let's just have a look. So as I said, it was nerfed within a couple of hours, which is a real shame. But you basically have a chance when you complete these world raids. You get some materials, like random materials, random items, such as you would get on completing dungeons. Those similar like random origin items. And you also get the random jewels as well, as if you didn't have enough of them already. So yeah, I've been waiting to kill off these Morrigans, so we can kind of showcase this new bonuses. So when I say they were nerfed, basically in the first couple of hours, basically, you would get like three random materials, and you could get over 30 of each material. And I don't think there's any weighting to materials, by the way. I think it's just random. Like you can get cursed Ortonite, you can get wood. Um, it's just luck of the draw. More RNG in the game, of course. So hopefully we'll get some pop-up screens here. Of course, I'm hoping for some nice Risen Morgan items as well. Broken. So scroll down to the bottom. So yeah, you got that unorthodox Mighty Griffin Shield. Just that random. It's just that random item again. Now this is actually something strange. Like this is these Greater Souls and Curse Ortonite. I don't know if he's tweaked it today, but when I killed Morgans earlier, I was getting random materials, I'm sure. But this looks like it's been like purely weighted for. It's obviously the same material as the rest of the items. So let's see. Okay, but this one wasn't. Perfect runestone and 12 stone. So I have no idea like if there's any kind of correlation, if it's completely random. I mean, what are the chances of you getting Greater Souls and Cursed Ortonite? I don't know. There must be something there, surely. I need to turn on Broken, also Dismantle as well. So, okay, I didn't even talk about the number of what I was getting there. So yeah, as I said, when in the first couple of hours, like you were getting over 30 of each material, then he definitely nerfed it to. It kind of feels like it's between 10 and 20, maybe not even 20. I mean, we just got 24 of each. I don't even. It's hard to tell now. Hard to tell. But yeah, most of the world. I mean, I've cleared like over 100 world raids today, and the absolute majority of materials were between 10 and like 15 on average of each material. So I wonder if we can actually get the Cursed Ortonite and Greater Souls back. So I mean, these Arisen Morgans are like they're all prep. They just need a couple of hits. So we may as well see if we can get some decent materials. I mean, yeah. I mean, why am I disappointed in those extra bonuses? Of course, extra mats, extra bonuses is nice. They were in like the pre-patch notes, so we were expecting them. And I just think when it first dropped, and people were getting like 90 extra mats, it's actually super fun, something to look forward to. Now that we're getting like an extra 20 mats, and half the time it's going to be, wood or waterstone, and when it's not wood or waterstone, you're getting an aged odd jewel, as if we didn't need more random jewels in our inventory. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's. I don't know if this is like something in place for something that's coming later on. Kind of saw a comment on the Discord yesterday, which might have suggested that from Odie. I don't know. I would hope so, because but we'll wait and see. I mean, it is more than what we were getting previously. But we had extra fun. It was taken away. Now we just have a little bit of fun, which is a shame. Let's see if this Arisen Morgan gives us anything decent. I just went past the screen. Yeah, just thanks Arisen Orna Legends for supporting the Arisen Orna Legends and normal Orna Legends ecosystem, I like to call it these days. Lots of content, and thanks for watching this patch review. Let me know your thoughts again in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video. Ciao.